You know, there's a place deep in the mountains between Fukushima and Niigata where it feels like the Tadami River itself is breathing, especially between June and August. The whole valley just fills with this incredible mist. It's like a quiet exhale from the water, and it wraps the entire world in this soft gray stillness. The silence there, it feels ancient, you know? Like the whole landscape is just holding its breath, waiting for something to happen.
And running right through that silence is a single line of steel. It's not a railway that shouts for attention or anything. It just waits. It's pointing the way, into a world you can't even see yet. This is the path of Japan's Tadami Line. And looking at it, it really feels like a promise, doesn't it? A promise of a journey about to start.
And then you see it. Just a single point of red, hanging there in the twilight. It's a sign, right? A signal. It tells you that the quiet of this sleeping landscape, well, it's about to be gently broken. Something is definitely on its way.
So, what kind of journey is this? Well, you could call it a journey on a steel thread. Because out of that stillness, a presence starts to emerge. And it's not a roar, not at all. It's more like a steady, quiet rhythm. The kind of rhythm that's been measuring time in this valley for generations.
At first, it's just a soft light, a warm glow sliding through the fog. Then you see it, a single carriage. And it's not moving with any kind of urgency. No, it has this patience to it, almost like it's a part of the landscape itself. See, this train doesn't conquer the terrain, it just follows it. This isn't some machine built for speed. It's more like a vessel of constancy, moving through this remote and rugged place.
So this is the Tadami Line. For about 135 kilometers, it just traces the contours of the Earth. It's a single track connecting Aizu Wakamatsu in Fukushima with Koide in Niigata. But what's really amazing is that this railway isn't really defined by the cities it links. No, it's defined by the geography it lives in, the deep mountains, and that winding path of the Tadami River.
You can really see the character of this line in the way it crosses the river. Look at its bridges, like this one, the Daiichi Tadami River Bridge. They aren't scars on the landscape at all. They're more like graceful additions. That arched steel, it doesn't feel like an intrusion. It feels more like a collaboration between the railway, the jade green water, and the dense forest all around it. It's almost as if the railway chose to belong right here.
But then you step inside, and the whole world changes. The journey kind of turns inward. The pace just slows right down to this rhythm of quiet observation. You see the condensation gathering on the glass, and the forest outside becomes this soft, sliding reflection. You quickly realize the point of traveling this way isn't to get somewhere fast, not at all. It's to watch the world pass by, to notice the little details, to just be present.
But that constant, patient rhythm we've been talking about, it was broken. There was this moment of absolute rupture, a time when that steel thread was completely severed. And the whole valley, it fell back into a silence, but this time, a really profound one.
It all happened back in July of 2011. There were these torrential rains, and they caused these just devastating floods. The river, which was always like a partner to the railway, it rose up in this absolute fury and just washed away 3 of the bridges. And just like that, a nearly 28-kilometer stretch of the line went silent. And that silence, it would end up lasting for over a decade.
11 years! Just think about that for a moment. 11 years!
So for 11 years, the sound of that train echoing through the valley was, well, it was just a memory. And the railway operator, they were facing these massive costs. They actually suggested the connection might never be restored, that the line could just be replaced by a bus. The silence, it was in real danger of becoming permanent.
But out of that story of loss, a completely different story began to emerge. And this one wasn't about steel and concrete. It was about human resilience. It was about a promise made to the future.
Now, rebuilding this thing, it was a monumental task. I mean, this is not flat, easy ground we're talking about. Workers had to literally build temporary roads into these remote mountain gorges just to get the heavy machinery in. And all the while, they were battling the elements, the river rising up again, and those deep, deep winter snows that just bury this entire region.
So, what was the real motivation behind this incredible struggle? Well, it all comes down to a simple moment. One day, a construction manager stopped at a local shop, and the shopkeeper said to him, "The children now, they've never seen a train running. I really want to show them." And right there, in that one sentence, that was the true purpose of all this work. It had nothing to do with economics. It was a promise to the next generation. And this fight, it became a whole community effort. First, the Fukushima prefecture stepped in to help with the funding. But then, and this is just amazing, 17 local towns and villages pledged their own money. It was like they were making a declaration, that this railway wasn't just some line on a map. It was their iron road. It was their connection, and they were just not going to let it disappear. And then, on October 1st, 2022, that promise was kept. The first train in 11 years ran the full length of the line. Now get this, on that very day, a vehicle breakdown caused a 4-hour delay. But one of the local residents just smiled and said, "We waited 11 years for this. A few hours is nothing." I just love that. So with the line restored, its rhythm finally returned to the valley. And with that rhythm came its oldest purpose, really. It's not just about carrying people. It's about carrying time itself, marking that slow, beautiful passage of the seasons.
Summer arrives, and it's just this deep, living green. The forests get all lush and heavy with rain, and the river turns into this cool, clear jade down below. And the train just moves right through it, this little thread of motion in an entire ocean of green. And then, that green gives way to this fleeting, fiery brilliance. When autumn hits, the mountainsides just explode. They become this canvas of impossible reds and oranges and golds. It's like this intense, breathtaking party before the big quiet sets in. And then, of course, comes the snow. And believe me, this is one of Japan's heaviest snowfall regions. We're talking an average of over 12 meters a year. See, winter doesn't just visit here. It moves in. The whole world is transformed, softened, and silenced under this deep blanket of white. And the train? It becomes this single warm line drawn right across a frozen landscape.
And then, finally, the thaw. As spring returns, all that snow melts back into the river, and the mist, it starts to rise once more. The whole cycle is complete. And the train, having carried the memories of all 4 seasons, moves again through that same soft gray stillness where our whole journey began.
Okay, so as the day starts to end, the journey keeps going. But it takes on this new feeling, a much more contemplative character, as the light begins to fall. At dusk, the world outside just turns into these shades of cold blue and deep purple. And the train, it becomes this small, warm little vessel of light. It looks almost fragile, this little thread moving through the immense scale of the darkening mountains. It's a powerful reminder, isn't it, of the small human presence in this huge, wild space. And if you're inside, the window pretty much becomes a mirror. You see the warm interior lights reflected on the glass, and they're layered over the dark, rushing water of the river right below. At this point, the focus isn't on a destination anymore. The journey itself is the whole reason. It's all about that quiet, almost meditative experience of just being carried through the night.
So you have to wonder, what's really being carried in this small vessel of light? It's not just passengers, right? It's the hopes of an entire town. It's that promise made to a child. It's all the quiet little stories of daily life, all moving together through this extraordinary silence. And then, just like that, it's gone. The only thing left is a single red light, shrinking into the distance until it's finally swallowed by the complete darkness of the valley. But long after we've stopped watching, that journey continues. A persistent thread of life, a quiet sound, a warm light, just moving patiently on through the great silence.